What is up, everyone? Please take a second to hit that like button. The more likes that we get in a short period of time, the more people the algorithm will bring into the chat to come hang out with us and see what's going on. So please hit that like button and let me know how you're doing, and happy freedom. Look at this. I already got more than 100 people in the chat. You guys are doing awesome. Make sure you run them likes up. I don't know what's going on. We had like 500 people in the chat and only like 200 people hit that like button on that last live. Gotta get back in the habit of run them likes up. That's how it triggers the algorithm. It'll boost it, so it'll bring in new people to see what's actually going on. Alright, give me a second. I'm gonna send out these links real quick. Well, old man Walter is supposed to be on the stage in 2 minutes, but he'll be late because he's always late. The only time he's not late is when he's away from the White House. Then they shove his ass up on stage. What's up, T. Lawton? What's up, Wicked Patriot? What's up, Amy? What's up, Sam? Happy freedom. What's up, JT3? Don't say hooligan supremacist. That sounds so bad. Happy freedom, MD. Happy freedom, Nefties. Happy freedom, Rubberneck. Appreciate you guys being here. Oh man, I haven't had to look at old man Walter in a while. Not really ready for it. Happy freedom, Susan. What's up, Jerry? God bless. Happy freedom, Heartland Patriot. Chris, I wish you could have live streamed the Mandate Freedom event yesterday in LA. It was amazing. If you didn't watch it, I highly recommend everyone to. It will touch you to the core. I got notifications saying that the lives kept dropping out. I didn't hear much else about it. I was still getting groceries and stuff. I have to drive like an hour away to get groceries. So it's like an all-day thing. Happy Freedom. Charlie, thanks for being here. Happy Freedom, Flower Child. What's up, Chantel? Happy Freedom. Kelly K. Old Man Walter wants our guns. Yeah, he does. It's a true story. I think I was seeing people kind of for it when we were watching the press briefing. There was flag comments coming up saying, well, guns help people kill people. Like it's a good thing the government wants to take our guns. No, we need more responsible gun owners. That's what we need. We don't need less guns. We need people to use their brain if they're going to use their Second Amendment. Well, Francesca, if you don't want to be here, you don't have to be here. You can go support Antifa if you want to. Yeah, Spoffy, that's what I'm seeing. I feel like the convoy has almost completely lost their support. Because right now, they're just spreading awareness, but they could be doing more. If that's like the sole goal, I feel like there's a little bit more they could be doing as far as spreading awareness. Thanks so much, King of Dorks, for continuing the membership program for 7 months. You're officially a hooligan. I appreciate you. Yeah, Heartland Patriot. Old Man Walter, he's going to be up there stammering. They're probably giving him his jabs right now, so he get up there and talk 90 miles a minute, and then he'll start slowing down and stuttering, and then he'll run away before there's questions. I wonder if that's why Peter wasn't at the press briefing. I wonder if he's already set up to yell questions over at Old Man Walter. What's up, Cobra Kai? Happy Freedom. Kenny, little Joey needed his quick diaper change. Probably. They probably had to go wake him up. Happy Freedom, Kendra. What's up, Guardian? Happy Freedom, Tara. What's up, Lourdes? Thanks for being here. Hey, I appreciate you, Chris. Happy Freedom. Mary, a ghost gun. I'm trying to think how to explain this. I don't think I can explain it. I think it's actually against community guidelines. It's like pieces that need a little bit of tweaking to be assembled and then used. What's up, Rasta? Happy Freedom, Glimmer of Freak. What's up, Sam? All mine fell in the lake. I'm saying. What's up, damn commies? No, I can't play anyone's music. It's not about the copyright belonging to the artist. It's about people uploading it to YouTube. So like if the national anthem plays, I have to mute it. Now, in the law, the national anthem is public domain, meaning no one owns the copyright. Everyone can use it. But on YouTube, the content ID has been attached to it. So if you play the national anthem, you will get a copyright flag. They will try and take all the moderation that video makes and pay some person that use the YouTube content ID to attach it to the national anthem. So no matter how old a song is or anything like that, any commercial music cannot be played on YouTube, because you'll be forfeiting all the money you make from the advertisement to whoever owns the content ID of that song. What's up, Wild Turkey? Brand's finishing his ice cream. Yep. I hate when I'm reading the chat and then it refreshes and then I have to do all this scrolling and searching. Bunch of nonsense. Hey, thanks for being here, Slenderella. Fatboy Games, it's looking that way. I think they think that people have forgot what the Second Amendment is for, and so they're testing it. They're testing the water. But if people start enforcing resistance, then I think they'll back off. Or they won't, because they do want conflict. Because if they have conflict and they overcome the conflict, they will use the conflict as a reason to have more control. And then they will take more freedoms away. What's up, Snooks? Thanks for sharing it out. I appreciate you. Happy Freedom Donna. I have to figure out how to brew it. I have to do some research and stuff to figure out how to do that. But that will probably end up on the beer review channel, or the beverage review channel rather. Happy Freedom John. I'm doing alright. How are you doing? Happy Freedom Tina. Thank you for being here. Happy Freedom Animated Adventure. Old Man Walter, 7 minutes late. What's up, Jennifer? Happy Freedom. What's up, Finn? Yesterday was awesome. It's not just about the convoy, and there was still no media coverage. Yeah. It's because people don't go live. So there's something that happened here in Michigan, in Grand Rapids. I don't know. It's only hearsay at this point, but I guess an officer was having an engagement with a young guy, and something happened, and they said that the officer shot and killed the guy execution style. They retrieved his phone. They refused to release the phone to anyone, and they're also not releasing body footage. So for the last 2 or 3 days, there's been rallies and BLM stuff going on in Grand Rapids, which is like 2 hours from me. And I've just started seeing footage of it today. There's quite a bit of footage out there on Facebook. I don't know if it's anywhere else, but it seems to be from like one person. There was like somewhere from 50 to 80 people in these videos that I was watching earlier today, and they're all sourced from the same person. And again, there is not enough live streamers in the world. That's kind of what I was saying the last time Corinne was in the chat. You guys like to make fun of Corinne and stuff, and you know, you're free to do whatever you want. But in reality, we need more people live streaming. We need more people willing to pull their phone out and show what's actually happening. So like talking about that freedom rally was going on in LA, there's no coverage. I bet there was a ton of people there. There's no reason why they couldn't pull their phone out and go live. They let fear prevent them from letting that out. It's fear that's controlling them. Yeah, Charlie, you can't play drinking games with old man Walter. He'll have you under the table. All the nonsense he does. What's up, JDW? They're doing everything in their power to make me a criminal, but once they make me one, then I no longer care about their BS laws being a criminal and all. Yeah, I mean, that's how we got Antifa. Is they were protesting and rallying, and the police were being aggressive to them, and it was going back and forth. It was, for a while, it was like if the protesters didn't become violent, then the police would become violent. And then if the protesters became violent, then the officers became defensive. And it was going back and forth on a daily basis. You didn't know who was going to strike who, first. But then eventually they started showing up in gear, and they started showing up with homemade weapons and stuff like that. The protesters did. And they devolved into Antifa because they felt like they were being treated like criminals anyways. So what is there to lose? You're already paying the price because you're being put in a box. You might as well just act the part. They're trying to do that with everyone. If you have a conservative mindset, or you are supportive of the way society is right now, well, not right now, the way it was 2 years ago prior to the plague, if you have that mindset, then they're trying to label you as a criminal. So after a while, you'll start behaving as a criminal, and then they'll have their justification to take your rights away. That's what's going on. What's up, Rainbow Obsidian? Appreciate you being here. Don't give up your guns, ever. Cheers from Canada. Yep. Anyone's got guns, I don't think they're in a position where they're willing to give them up. Paul, so I'm pretty sure the biggest thing about ghost guns is, I think it's building the lower. I think it's like a specific part that has to be, I can't say it. It's against community guidelines. I can't explain how to do this stuff. But it's about a specific part that everything else attaches to, because you can just order all this stuff, but there's a specific part that normally you can't order without being checked. And then after that, you either can or can't get it. Well, people were getting around that by getting an unfinished part and then moving forward from there. Happy Freedom Forest Dweller. Thanks for being here. Faded Operator. Yeah, that's unfortunate. These things happen. These things happen. Charlie Walter number 2 clone is malfunctioning again, methinks. Yep, it could be. It could be. I'm trying to think. It might have been Salty Cracker. I can't remember. I was watching a video yesterday or something where they were comparing young Walter to old Walter.
Deputy Attorney General Lisa Monaco and Mia Tretta.
John Costello, I like calling you John Costello. There's like 15 Johns, but I knew you as John Costello. Sorry, you're stuck with it at this point. Fiery's checking his laptop. He's checking his son's laptop. Wow, here comes Mr. Crap Your Pants Hard.
Please have a seat. Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. President Joe Biden, members of Congress, members of our administration, friends, and fellow Americans. When gunfire rings out in a community, it brings fear and it brings pain to the victims, to those who love them, to the parents who tell their children to run into the bathtub when they hear gunfire on the street outside, because it is the safest place in the home from a stray bullet. Gun violence brings pain to the entire community, and by extension, to the whole of society. As a prosecutor, I brought many perpetrators of gun violence to justice. But I knew, even after a successful prosecution, the hurt and the loss and the fear often still remained. To the survivors of gun violence who are here with us today, and to the friends and family members of those we have lost, I thank you for your incredible determination in the face of so much pain. And it is a deep honor to stand with you today. As we know all too well, our nation continues to be plagued by an epidemic of gun violence. The President has worked for decades to end this terror. For my whole career, addressing gun violence has been one of my top priorities, first as a courtroom prosecutor, then as the elected district attorney of San Francisco when we created a gun specialist unit to go after violent offenders, then as Attorney General of California, where we worked within our California Bureau of Firearms to investigate and seize firearms for those who unlawfully possess them. I have seen firsthand how our nation's epidemic of gun violence has been driven by the proliferation of guns in our communities, and increasingly in recent years by the proliferation of ghost guns. Ghost guns can be purchased on the internet and assembled at a kitchen table. They can be bought without a background check by people who otherwise would be legally prohibited from gun ownership: domestic abusers, gun traffickers, individuals convicted of violent crimes, and even young children. Traditional guns are required to have serial numbers, which can help law enforcement identify a firearm that has been stolen from its lawful owner or found at the scene of a crime. Ghost guns have no serial numbers. They are practically untraceable, making it more difficult for law enforcement to hold to account those who use weapons to do violence. Because of how easy they are to access and how difficult they are to trace, ghost guns pose an especially grave threat to the safety of our communities. That is why, as a United States Senator, I was proud to co-sponsor a bill to manufacture and end the manufacturing, of sale of ghost guns. And it is why we are here today, to announce new actions to get ghost guns off our streets and to protect our communities from gun violence. The Department of Justice plays a critical role in addressing gun violence in our communities, and the actions we are taking today would not be possible without their partnership. So I'm proud to now welcome a leader who has spearheaded much of the department's work on this important issue, Deputy Attorney General Lisa Monaco.
Thank you very much, Madam Vice President, Mr. President, Mia. There is no higher priority for the Department of Justice than keeping the American people safe. That is why every day we work with our community and law enforcement partners to combat violent crime through prevention and through prosecutions. Too often, though, murders and other serious crimes are committed with guns. Each victim of gun violence is someone's loved one, a neighbor, a friend. We stand together today in recognition of that loss, and alongside all of those who have been touched by the tragedy of gun violence, we also stand together with resolve and with hope for the future. Just over 1 year ago, the President, the Vice President, and the Attorney General stood in this very spot to announce new steps to curb gun violence. One such critical step is reining in so-called ghost guns. These are guns that have no serial numbers. They are nearly impossible for law enforcement to trace. Many are sold without a background check. They're accessible to almost anyone. They often come in kits. They can be bought online. They can be assembled quickly with little or no training. That means that someone can convert parts in a box into a working gun with alarming ease. Now, we call them ghost guns because they can't be traced. But make no mistake, they are real. They can shoot to kill, and they do. For years, criminals have sought out these unmarked guns to murder and to maim. That's why the Attorney General has signed a rule that updates our regulations to keep up with changes in technology. The goal? To keep untraceable guns off of the streets, out of the hands of criminals and others who are prohibited by law from possessing a firearm. Some of the key changes include updating old definitions to ensure that gun laws apply to all firearms, including ghost guns, requiring gun dealers to run background checks on kits containing parts that can readily be converted into a gun, facilitating tracing by requiring firearms dealers to apply serial numbers to existing ghost guns so that they then take into inventory. Because of these updates, law enforcement will have additional crime gun intelligence to stop gun violence, to seek justice for victims of violent crimes, and to get guns used in crimes off of our streets. Today's announcement is one of many efforts by the Department of Justice to protect our communities from violent crime and gun violence. We continue to go after and disrupt illegal gun trafficking networks. We continue to go after and hold accountable the most violent offenders. And we are working every day with our partners in law enforcement and with community leaders to craft specific strategies to combat violent crime and keep communities safe. We will not stop until we reduce violent crime and save lives. As the Attorney General has said, the department will continue to apply every single tool at our disposal to fulfill that obligation. And now it is my great honor to introduce Mia Tretta, an inspiring young woman whose story illustrates why we're here today and why these actions are so important. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Deputy Attorney General. Good afternoon. As she said, my name is Mia Tretta, and it's an honor to be here today. And not just because it's the White House, but because I'm speaking on behalf of two classmates who can't be here with us, one of whom was my best friend. When I woke up on November 14th, 2019, my biggest worry of the day was a Spanish test. I was a freshman at Saugus High School in Santa Clarita, California, determined to get good grades. So as soon as I got to school, I made a beeline for the quad to meet up with my best friend, Dominic Blackwell. It's hard for me to talk about Dominic. Like me, Dominic had big dreams, liked doing well in school, and planning for our futures. We spent the morning like any other, laughing and talking, until we heard a loud pop. It was a gunshot, followed by 6 more. One of the bullets hit me in the stomach. Somehow, I was able to get up and run away, but Dominic couldn't. I was airlifted to the hospital and spent hours in surgery having a bullet removed from my abdomen that was millimeters away from my major artery.
I'm not a biologist.
Then my parents told me the terrible truth. Dominic had died, and so had another classmate, Gracie Ann Muehlberger, a 15-year-old girl with an infectious laugh. And a community was left shattered. I later learned that we had been shot by a 16-year-old student for reasons I will never know. He had brought his father's weapon to school, a firearm I would come to know as a ghost gun. Ghost guns are untraceable, build-it-yourself firearms that look like a gun, shoot like a gun, and kill like a gun, but have not been regulated like a gun. I've also learned that as a student, I don't just have to worry about Spanish tests, but about my life. School shootings with ghost guns are on the rise. And the most lasting thing I have learned, other than the loss of friends or the shattering of my youth, is that nothing has relieved the pain in my heart like working to prevent more senseless shootings. So my family and I joined Everytown for Gun Safety, Moms Demand Action, and Students Demand Action. And we worked with thousands of other young activists and survivors to prevent more things like this happening. They turned my pain into progress. And that's why we're here today, celebrating progress, life-saving progress. Because now, finally, we have a president who realizes that thoughts and prayers alone are not enough.
Is that why he's staring at your ass?
A president who has been standing up to the gun lobby for decades and winning. A president who has been standing up for survivors like me and so many others. A president who is taking bold, meaningful action to stop the spread of ghost guns. Ladies and gentlemen, it is now my great honor to introduce the strongest gun sense commander-in-chief ever to hold office.
Come on, calm down there. Calm down there.
Stupid son of a bitch.
Is he gonna kiss her? Holy shit. I thought she was about to get victimized right there on national television.
Wow.
He's gotta let the blood go back to his brain real quick.
Deputy Attorney General Monaco. And Mia, you're an incredible young woman. We spoke for a moment inside the Oval Office. And a lot of people here who have lost someone, and too many here have lost someone, know that no matter what the occasion, how celebratory or not it is, when you have to repeat it, you relive it like it just happened a moment ago. Your poise, your confidence, and your intellect are really impressive, honey. I mean, they really are. And you know, I think most people here can tell you've gone through serious loss.
He's about to go full Disney.
The best way to deal with it is find purpose. And you found real purpose. And you are impressive. And thank you for sharing your strength, for helping us remember your friend Dominic Blackwell and Gracie Muehlberger. You know, Dominic and Gracie's parents are with us today. Are you prepared to stand up? If I don't want to embarrass you, but would you stand up? If you have a moment afterwards, maybe you can come in the Oval with me if you wouldn't mind. I'd love to talk to you. Frank and Nancy, Brian and Cindy, everyone here, as they say, feels your pain a little bit, particularly if they've suffered a serious loss. You've now joined a terrible fellowship of loss that many people have experienced. There are too many survivors and advocates here for me to name everyone today, but let me say the loss in this crowd is incalculable. But so is the strength. So is the strength. I believe our nation will be safer for your bravery, and I really mean that. Survivors like me and Manny and Claudia, Los Angeles Deputy Sheriff who survived an ambush by a shooter with a ghost gun, represent individuals and families all across this country whose lives have been forever changed by a ghost gun. Some made national headlines, many others did not. Today, we honor your strength and your action. A year ago this week, standing here with many of you, I instructed the Attorney General to write a regulation that would rein in the proliferation of ghost guns because I was having trouble getting anything passed in the Congress. But I used what we call regulatory authority. A year later, we're here, we keep that promise. The gun lobby tried to tie up the regulators and paperwork for a long, long time. The NRA called this rule I'm about to announce extreme. Extreme. But let me ask you, is it extreme to protect police officers? Extreme to protect our children? Extreme to keep guns out of the hands of people who couldn't even pass a background check? Look, the idea that someone on the terrorist list could purchase one of these guns is extreme. It isn't extreme, just basic common sense. You know, if you buy a couch you have to assemble, it's still a couch. If you order a package like this one over here that includes the parts you need, the direction of assembling a functioning firearm, you bought a gun. Take a look. Take a look at this. It comes in this package. You can see the picture down here maybe. This is the gun. It's not hard to put together. A little drill, hand drill at home. Doesn't take very long. Anyone can order it in the mail. Anyone. And folks, a felon, a terrorist, a domestic abuser can go from a gun kit to a gun in as little as 30 minutes. Buyers aren't required to pass background checks because guns have no serial numbers, these guns. When they show up at a crime scene, they can't be traced. Harder to find and prove who used them. Meaning you can't connect the gun to the shooter and hold them accountable. In fact, the ATF reports that they've been able to trace less than 1% of ghost guns reported by law enforcement. So it makes sense that police across the country are increasingly finding ghost guns at crime scenes. And by the way, ghost guns can be, quote, rifles, essentially assault weapons as well. This is just one version of the kit you can buy. Last year alone, law enforcement reported approximately 20,000 suspected ghost guns to the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives. That's a 10-fold increase in these ghost guns from 2016. 10-fold in 5 years. These guns are weapons of choice for many criminals. We're going to do everything we can to deprive them of that choice. And when we find them, put them in jail for a long, long time. Law enforcement is sounding the alarm. Our communities are paying the price, and we're acting. Today, the United States Department of Justice is making it illegal for a business to manufacture one of these kits without a serial number. Illegal. Illegal for a licensed gun dealer to sell them without a background check. And starting today, weapons like the one used in Saugus High School and to ambush deputies with us that are here with us today are being treated like the deadly firearms they are. And if somebody sells a ghost gun to a federally licensed dealer, for example, a pawn shop, that dealer must make the firearm and mark it with a serial number before reselling it. All of a sudden, it's no longer a ghost. It has a return address. It's going to help save lives, reduce crime, and get more criminals off the streets. And this rule is only part of our strategy to go after ghost guns. In February, the Department of Justice launched a national ghost gun enforcement initiative, intensifying our efforts to bring cases against those who use ghost guns illegally. We're teaching investigators and prosecutors best practices, how to build these cases, and assigning a coordinator in each of the ATF field divisions to serve as a point person for helping federal, state, and local law enforcement go after ghost guns. If you commit a crime with a ghost gun, expect federal prosecution. Not just state, expect federal prosecution. This rule is an important step. It's going to make a difference, I promise you. And there are a lot of other things we know work to reduce gun violence and other violent crimes and save lives. That's why I put together a comprehensive strategy to supercharge what works while continuing to push Congress to act on sensible legislation to prevent gun violence. In addition to today's rule, we're working on 4 areas. First, we're going after rogue gun dealers. The last time we had data on this was more than 20 years ago. 5% of gun dealers sold 90% of illegal guns found at crime scenes. 5% sold 90%. These merchants of death are breaking the law for profit, selling guns that are killing innocent people. We're cracking down on these gun dealers and the violent criminals they knowingly arm. Second, we're disrupting illegal gun trafficking. Attorney General Garland has directed all U.S. attorneys to prioritize combating gun trafficking that is moving guns across state lines and city boundaries. The Justice Department is surging prosecutorial resources to help shut down these trafficking corridors, including the one known as the Iron Pipeline that funnels weapons from gun shops in states like Georgia to crime scenes up and down the East Coast. Thirdly, we're funding strategies we know reduce gun crime, community policing, and community violence interruption. Look, I've said it many times. The answer is not to defund the police. It's to fund the police and give them the tools and training to support they need to be better partners and protectors of our communities in need. And I've already made clear that I want cities, states, counties, and tribes to use some of the $350 billion we sent to them in the American Rescue Plan that I wrote in the first month to reduce gun violence, hire police officers for community policing, pay police overtime, purchase crime-fighting technologies. They were given the money, they can do it. Spend it. And now, on top of that, I'm calling for additional funding to put police on the streets for community policing. One thing we learned in the middle of the crime wave not long ago, when the cop knows by first name who owns the corner drugstore, who lives in the apartment above 6B, who the people who are the pastors of the churches, guess what? People talk to them. They trust them. My son was the Attorney General in Delaware. He'd go around and make sure everybody literally in these high crime rate neighborhoods, he'd give them his personal cell phone number and instructed all the cops to do the same thing. And they did. And the crime plummeted. Not a joke. Look at the record. Not just my son, but all across the nation. And for the FT to hire agents, they need to help to fight gun crime. More agents. My budget funds body cameras, make sure police work with our local communities and are accountable to the local communities. We're also investing in community violence intervention. These are areas of local programs that utilize trusted messengers, community members, and leaders to work directly with people who are the most likely to commit a gun crime or become victims of gun crime. Get to them early. It works. It works. They intervene before it's too late. Fourth, we're funding jobs and training for young people, summer programs, drug treatment, mental health, housing availability, criminal justice reform, and reentry support for people coming home after incarceration. Right now, you get let out of prison after serving your time, you get a bus ticket and 25 bucks. You end up under the same bridge you left 2, 5, 10 years earlier. If you serve your time, you qualify for Pell Grants, you qualify for housing, you qualify for food, you qualify to get back into the community, give them a fighting chance. These are all demonstrated ways to reduce crime. And I'm strongly urging cities, states, counties, and tribes to use the rescue plan funding we sent them to do more in each of these areas. And they need to do more and do it quickly before the summer when crime typically surges around America. So, we're pushing in each of these areas, but none of this absolves Congress, with all due respect to my members of Congress here, they're the wrong people I'd be talking to, for the responsibility to act. We need Congress to pass universal background checks. Universal background checks. And I know it's controversial, but I got it done once. Ban assault weapons and high-capacity magazines.
Of course the government wants that.
I was getting criticized when I first passed this law when I was a senator. And guess what? I was down in southern Delaware, do a lot of hunting and fishing down there. And I was walking up one of the creek beds. And the guy standing there said, "You want to take my gun?" I said, "I don't take your gun." He said, "Well, you're telling me I can't have more than the next number of bullets in my gun." And I said, "What do you think, the deer you're hunting or wear Kevlar vests? What the hell you need 20 bullets for? You must be a hell of a terrible shot." I'm serious. Think about it. Think about the mass shootings. As many as 100 rounds. It's a weapon of war. There's nothing to do with recreation. Outright ban of the sale and possession of unserialized guns. Eliminate gun manufacturers' immunity from liability. They're the only outfit. They're the only outfit in the country that is immune. Imagine had the tobacco industry been immune to being sued. Come on. In February, the families of 9 of the Sandy Hook shooting victims achieved a settlement against the maker of guns that was used to kill their children. The Sandy Hook folks are here. Are you embarrassed to ask you to stand up? These folks right here did more to keep all this going than anybody. We owe you, man. We owe you.
I don't know if that's something to be proud of.
God love you. Look, this is incredibly rare because gun manufacturers have more immunity from liability than any other American industry. So they've never had to take responsibility for the death and destruction their products cause. But as part of this settlement, Remington agreed to release thousands of pages of internal documents. He did that. And here's why it's so important. Remember, it wasn't until we saw the internal documents that we really understood what cigarette manufacturers are doing to our kids and our families. Now, we may begin to see what gun manufacturers are and are not doing when it comes to making and marketing their deadly products. And by the way, it's going to sound bizarre. I support the Second Amendment. You have a right. But from the very beginning, the Second Amendment didn't say you can own any gun you want, as big as you want. You couldn't buy a cannon when, in fact, the Second Amendment passed. And certain people from the very beginning weren't allowed to purchase guns. It's nothing new. It's just rational. Look, this should be just a start. We need to repeal the liability shield of gun manufacturers and finally hold them accountable for false advertising and many other things they do. There's one more action I'm taking today. There's only been one Senate who's confirmed the Director of Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives in the Bureau's entire history. It used to be didn't require Senate action when I first got to the Senate. But it's only been one since it became required confirmation. This is an agency whose mission is to protect communities from violent criminals, illegal trafficking of firearms, acts of arson and bombing, and a lot more. The mission of this agency isn't controversial, it's public safety. Today, to lead and support the dedicated men and women of the AFT, I'm proud to nominate Steve Diddleback. Excuse me, I mispronounced your name. As Director of Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives. Steve is immensely qualified. He served the Department of Justice for 2 decades. He worked side by side to support the work of federal, state, and local law enforcement, including AFT agents. And one of those was his case he was personally tried as a U.S. attorney, where the serial arsonist firebombed the courthouses and police headquarters in Mansfield, Ohio. For his work, Steve got death threats, but the defendant got 60 years. Steve also partnered with the community leaders and law enforcement to help prevent violent crime. He's worked with the police to combat domestic extremism and to take violent criminals off the street. Steve's record makes him ready on day one to lead this agency. And by the way, in 2009, the U.S. Senate unanimously confirmed him to serve as U.S. Attorney. I look forward to working with the Senate to get him confirmed once again. With what I know about him and why I'm so enthusiastic about supporting him, I'd like to introduce my nominee to lead the AFT to you, all of you. Steve, come on up here.
What's the AFT?
I'll just take this off. Thank you, Mr. Thank you, buddy. I'm just going to stand over here.
Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you, Vice President Harris, for your leadership in protecting the people of this nation and for placing your trust in me to become the next director of the ATF. Thanks.
No, it's the AFT. Are you correcting old man Walter over there?
Deputy Attorney General Monaco, for all that you and Attorney General Garland continue to do at DOJ to make our nation safer. And thank you, Mia, for your incredible inspiration and courage, not just here today, but all over this nation. Thank you. I also want to thank my incredible, supportive, and often patient family who are here. My wonderful wife, Carol, and my children, Allie and David, please.
He's 16 years old. I'm going to draft him.
Is there an agent in the house? But seriously, most especially today, I want to thank the men and women of the ATF. You know, I started as a career prosecutor back in 1992, and I have spent 3 decades watching and admiring agents and staff at the ATF, along with its federal, state, and local law enforcement partners as they work tirelessly and courageously to protect the American people. I would also say they work in anonymity, but that would not be completely true. Because sadly, one thing I've also seen over the years is that the ATF often does work in anonymity when its agents are out there risking their lives to protect us, only to be thrust into the public eye when it's time for criticism. You know, law enforcement is a very tough job, and no person and no agency is perfect. But the President is right. The men and women of the ATF and the public that they protect deserve better support from us. I've seen firsthand the work that so many at the ATF do to protect us from violence. They're dedicated, they're professional, and they're effective. They don't write the laws. Their mission every day is just to go out and enforce those laws and protect the public from a wide range of threats. When I was U.S. Attorney, our office partnered with the ATF and the Cleveland Police as they doggedly investigated and brought a case involving the deadliest home arson in Cleveland history, killed 9 people, including 8 kids. I also saw the ATF partner with the FBI and our office, first to find and then to bring to justice a bigot who drove from Indiana to outside Toledo to torch the largest mosque in Ohio. And last, and certainly not least, I have partnered with the ATF for decades in its crucial fight against gun violence. You know, whether it was taking a single violent recidivist off the street in Maryland, or putting together a big racketeering case against a violent gang in Youngstown, Ohio. I have seen the ATF work with other law enforcement to make so many of our communities safer. As we emerge from this pandemic, we've got to recognize that many Americans still face fear and isolation, not because of a virus, but because of an epidemic of firearms violence. It's not a new problem, and it has many causes. That's why it's going to take an all-hands-on-deck partnership approach to address that issue. And the ATF will be there.
Yeah, but what about the AFT? Are they going to be there?
If confirmed, I promise to support the men and the women of the ATF and to do everything in our power to protect the people of this nation every single day. Thank you.
Good job.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you all for coming. By the way, he was responsible for the weather as well. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you.
Well, that was a strange way to end that briefing, or whatever you would like to call that. What a freak show. Jeez, the AFT, huh? I didn't know. I had to go back and do a screen recording of him hugging on that girl. It's nice and awkward. Put that up on TikTok. I'm going to put it up on the shorts too here on YouTube. What a nightmare of a briefing there. I don't know. Normally they show him signing the executive order. Are they not going to do that? Is he going to sign it later? Does anybody know? Probably not. All right. Well, let's get ready for the Pledge of Allegiance. Go ahead and knock that out really quick while I'm getting set up for that. Please find the Linktree link in the description on whichever platform you are currently watching right now. And follow me on everything. I'm on Twitter, TikTok, Gab, Getter, Instagram, Telegram, everything. Follow me on everything, because if I get deleted in one spot, I'll pop up in another one. I post updates, important information, funny stuff, all the good stuff. So make sure you follow me on everything. If you would like, please join Gilded. Gilded is where the hooligans hang out. When we're not live, they're pretty much there 24 hours a day. I think we're about to hit 300 hooligans in Gilded right now. We left Discord because Discord changed their terms of service to become more like YouTube. So we joined Gilded. It's a chat like you're in right now with lots of like-minded individuals to hang out with. We also have a news board that is constantly up to date with news articles from all over the world, so you can know what's going on around you. It is also the best way to be notified for when and where we go live. So actually, first I'm going to do some shout outs, and then we're going to do the Pledge of Allegiance. Hydrodynamic Pentagon briefing soon. I will check. I didn't know the Pentagon was going live. I will look for that here in a second. Thank you so much, Scout's dad, for the 3,000 bits on Twitch. I appreciate you. Thank you so much for all the support. Thank you, Mary Roberts, for the $2 donation. You're awesome. Thank you. All right, hooligans, please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, guys. So The next thing on the White House schedule, I guess, is Harris talking about, hold on, let me pull it up. That's what she said. It's Harris talking about reducing the burden of medical debt at 4:15, which is in an hour and 5 minutes. I don't know that we're going to cover that. Pretty much everything Harris does is not really worth watching. It's a whole bunch of clapping, and that's about it. We already know she's got the clap, so no reason to cover that. We will see about this Pentagon thing that was just brought to my attention. We may go live with that. I'm going to try my best to do the unboxing live at some point today. Maybe I'll do it in an hour or so and grab some food real quick. So I'll do the unboxing, and then we're going to do a beverage review. I bought like 3 or 4 things. We're going to go ahead and check that out. I don't know if I'm going to do that on this channel, though. I think I'm going to make a new channel, but I will notify all of you. So please make sure that you're following me on social media. Make sure you're following me on Gilded. I will make the announcement. I will put out the links. You guys can come hang out for something fun and not as ridiculous as watching the White House. All that lying and crying they got going on. Either way, I appreciate you guys coming to hang out with me. Big shout out to everyone that made donations, joined the membership program, or purchased any merch. You guys are awesome, and I would not be able to do this without you. So thank you so much for all the support. I will see you guys on the next live. Until then, stand tall, shine bright, and that's a wrap.